Perfect.
Yep.
All right. So as soon as there we go. As soon as you're ready, Adam. We're only at hour 9. That's perfect. Okay. Let me know when you guys are ready. I'll start playing the theme song.
Good to go.
Good to go.
Why do they get the respect like that?
I hit the button.
You're traveling through another dimension, a dimension not only of sight and sound, but of mind. That's the signpost up ahead. Your next stop, dark territory.
I know she's not deaf or dumb or retarded or anything.
They deserve the respect.
Bordering in Wonderland, the Twilight Zone review.
Hello, citizens. Welcome to LIW.
It may be said with a degree of assurance that not everything that meets the eye is as it appears. Case in point, the scene you're watching. This is not a hospital, not a morgue, not a mausoleum, not an undertaker's parlor of the future. What it is the belly of a spaceship. It is en route to another planetary system, an incredible distance from the Earth. This is the crux of our story, a flight into space. It is also the story of the things that might happen to human beings who take a step beyond, unable to anticipate everything that might await them out there.
I remember things. It's more than just void, darkness, unconsciousness. The mind does work. There are images, patterns, things to recollect. It's not just the long, deep sleep that comes when the fear has left. The cold is felt, the slipping away of feeling is noted and then succumbed to. The mind functions. Time is distorted, jumbled, telescoped, accordion, but there is a sense of time even so. And I remember things. I remember the way it began. I remember the way it was in the beginning.
Commander Douglas Stansfield, astronaut. A man about to embark on one of history's longest journeys. 40 years out into endless space and hopefully back again. This is the beginning. The first step toward man's longest leap into the unknown. Science has solved the mechanical details, and now it's up to one human being to breathe life into blueprints and computers. To prove once and for all that man can live half a lifetime in the total void of outer space. 40 years alone in the unknown. This is Earth. Ahead lies a planetary system. The vast region in between is the Twilight Zone.
I forgot our format. Hello, citizens. Welcome to LIW, the Twilight Zone review, episode 171. I'm Phoenix West.
I'm Break Links.
I'm Jansen Carlin.
No, man. Wilcox.
Welcome to the show for the long Morrow, Twilight Zone episode 515, which means we're almost done. We don't have many more left. That is exciting because it ran for 5 years. We just hit our 5-year anniversary at some point, somewhere. This month. I don't know when it is, but happy birthday to us.
I remember it was in the summer, yeah.
It was June of 2015 when I first started this, but we're almost done. I can't wait. I can't wait to venture into the dark, scary 80s seasons.
Oh god, yeah. It's when I pulled the Blu-ray out, I was like, oh yeah, that one's next. Fuck. It's still in the wrapping, but yeah. By the way, that beginning is a lot longer than that. Like I had to cut that down hard just to get its entire intro in. But I wanted to get the the guy's thinking because he's laying there in like a cryogenic like glass box because he's an astronaut or whatever. Like we'll get into that, trust me. But yeah, like I thought it was really good writing, and that was Rod. Rod might as well have said everything he said. You know what I mean? And I thought it was a really good, just to get just the premise of this episode and the feel of it out of the way and what's going on and everything. I thought it really worked with Rod's intro because it was so fucking long. You know, that's what I did.
Yeah, I could tell you did some edits there, but you did a good job. I feel like I redeemed myself for when I fucked you over on one of those edits you did. Adam remembers that probably.
What do you mean?
You were so proud of some edit you did, but I was so impatient of listening to. It was one of those days we had just audio problems, and we just like, fuck it, I don't even give a shit. Just play the clip.
You're impatient?
As far as Adam, you don't get to laugh. You're way more impatient than I am.
Yeah, it's true. It's absolutely true. I have the patience of a fly on speed.
Yeah. And then I played it. I remember what it was. It was the one. It was because it was the fourth season, so we were already what the fuck.
No, fifth season. It was like 3 episodes ago.
Oh, was it?
This
Yeah,
just happened 2 weeks ago.
It was the grandfather clock one, I think.
It feels like forever ago.
Yeah, no, I missed that one with you because I was
The
pissed.
grandfather clock episode just slowed down time for all of us. We're just like, fucking grandfather clock. Fuck you.
Season 5 can suck a fucking dick. But this episode's good. I like this one.
Adam, we've been doing this together for almost like six months now, dude. I'm telling you. It's been a while.
Yeah. Adam's been on for. It feels like Adam's been on for years, but it's really only been, 15 episodes?
I have that effect on people, Phoenix. I don't know what to tell
It
you.
feels like a nightmare, Adam. It feels like a nightmare.
It's worse. It gets worse. Trust me.
So this episode, right? Wow. Just wow. Like
Okay, let's put a pin in this. I know you're just starting, but let's slow down here because I'm curious because I know what you're gonna say. I want to take a moment here before we get to what the fuck you're gonna say because you texted me and you had some issues. You need to say, I fucking love this episode. I love it. Anybody else? Frank, you go last, and then you do your whole spiel about your time travel issues. Adam.
I like this one a lot as well. I thought this had it did a lot with very little, if that makes any sense. Like there's only a small cast, a solid story, while depressing but well executed. And I liked all of the people's performances in this show a lot. So that carried it for me as well. I did not enjoy any of it. I didn't predict it. Honestly, I don't think I've seen this episode before, so I didn't predict it. I kind of started to predict it towards the end, but I wasn't upset by its outcome either.
Yeah.
So, and also, thank you, Rod Serling. You didn't explain what happened before we watched it. That's a big peeve of mine. Don't tell me what the show's about. Don't give me the twist when it starts. Let it unfold at its own pace. So, good on you.
I agree. Jansen will get to you in 1 second, but I completely agree with everything Adam has said. Wherever you are on my screen, it was set up properly. Rod, I feel like they know when they have good episodes, and they write Rod's script to be like, here's general things you can say. You don't have to spoil the whole fucking thing like he does in some of the episodes that we've handled recently. But I completely agree. Jansen, what did you think overall? And I guess to start off, because it's your first time on this show, explain kind of where you are with it, like we did in the Tales from the Crypt. Explain where you are on Twilight Zone.
Sure.
All that.
Yeah, I mean, I've watched some Twilight Zone episodes in the past. I'm just now going back through everything you guys have watched on the side, just to kind of get caught up before you guys wrap up this series. I want to be, have as much knowledge as what you guys have had. So I've been watching, starting from season 1 to catch all the way up, and I've enjoyed it so far. There's obviously a bunch of episodes that fall flat, but some really good stories that come out of it too. Really interesting ones. This one I feel like was one of the good ones. I think it was a good story. I think it was a simple story. I think it was a simple story that we all know. It was very Shakespearean, Romeo and Juliet.
I have that in my notes.
Yeah. So I thought that was good and bad. I kind of saw it coming for sure. As far as the ending, but overall, I thought it was executed well, and it was enjoyable to watch.
Perfect. Yeah, you liked it overall. All three of us did. Frank, now's your time to shine. Tell us why this episode sucked.
Fuck this episode.
Wow.
No, guys, quiet. We had our time. Let's
All right.
be fair to Frank. This is his time.
Rolling out the red carpet for you, Frank. Go for it.
Shit on our episode.
Okay.
Doesn't even apologize.
This is the laziest fucking written I should say episode I've ever seen. The entire episode is, and this cheese ball with his fucking I'm gonna pick you up tonight and we're fucking like what the fuck, dude?
It
Like,
was smooth.
dude, he like I'm like, should I steal these lines from this man, or good God, y'all? But my biggest fucking problem is nothing with matter can go faster than the speed of light, and 9 times the speed of light is a fucking joke. And 40 years. Relativity, the theory of relativity and all that, right, is if he would have done his mission for 20 years out, 20 years back, by the time he came back to go that fast and everything, if he really did, the earth would be gone. Like the sun would have swallowed it up and everything, because the amount of millennia that would pass. And that's what I had a big problem with. So I know it's very nitpicky, but and Jupiter doesn't have volcanoes on it, by the way.
True. Both of those things you just mentioned are true. Let me translate to people who speak English. You have a problem with the theory of relativity,
Yes,
and how time happens when you're outside of Earth,
and especially your reference frame of point. Like,
no, I completely agree.
So
they don't scientifically make any sense, and that is true.
And this is in 64, like the theory of relativity is like 1913. You know what I mean? Like this was like the theory of relativity was I mean, we had already sent probes to fucking. I think we had already launched but anyway, we had the science down. We had the mathematics and everything that Serling wrote is bullshit.
It sounds like they might have just got lazy with the technical side of things, and if they had,
like I'm saying, it's very nitpicky as shit. Trust me. Like I mean, the biggest pet peeve is Jupiter just doesn't have volcanoes on it. Io does, but not Jupiter. Jupiter doesn't.
This came out before we even landed on the moon, so.
Well, but
but they knew stuff. Everything that Frank is mentioning, they knew already. That is true. Everything I've looked into it as well. They knew all already. They knew Jupiter's a gas planet. It does not have a surface for volcanoes. It doesn't have any of
that. Yeah, and they point to nebula. They just point to nebula hanging up on the. And he's like, solar system. There's Earth, and he pointed to the same fucking spot on the wall.
I got a question. So, not to discount what you're thinking, I agree with you. I would say if technicality aside, the plot I thought was good, but the technicality side of it definitely could have fixed a lot of things. So, my question is, during this time frame, right? This is the 1950s,
1964, I believe.
64. Okay. Yeah. What's our access to that information? Is this a low budget company not able to get that kind of access, or should that be common knowledge?
This is CBS that knows this shit.
Okay.
Yeah, and plus everybody back then. Yeah, and everybody back then, they had space fever, man. Like everybody was into this shit. You know what I mean? So I mean, it was just.
I 100% agree with everything Frank's saying. They knew this. It feels lazy, but I think, and it feels like other guys are on board. That's such a minor part of this episode. It is an emotional core episode about two characters in love. I even have in my notes what Jansen brought up: Romeo and Juliet. They're going.
I was getting that vibe too. Yeah,
that's it. That's all it is. In the space stuff, yes, it's inaccurate, and I get that, and I get why Frank has a problem with it. But this episode isn't. It shouldn't be focused on that. It's a character study, and it's a love story. And that's the part I really enjoy out of this episode. I find it fascinating, that part of it.
And I have the clip in the beginning when they first meet, because when they first meet, dude, it's hysterical.
Should you set up the episode first?
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
You got Adam's right. I was going to set it up real quick if you guys don't mind.
Yeah.
So we have a frame of reference for that clip. You're setting up when they meet, right? That's the clip you're going to play?
Yeah, I mean, because like I mean, I have the things that I just brought up, like those clips, but there's no reason to play them,
Okay.
So.
No, that's fine. If you want to play him, go right ahead. I'm just going to get there.
No,
our main character, let me pull up his fucking name because I don't remember it.
I don't
Played by
either.
Robert Lansing. His name is Commander Douglas Stansfield. He goes into some guy's office, and the guy doesn't have posters on the wall. He has wires hanging with transparent sheets, like an overhead projector sheet, with a light behind it, a light wall. And I was just sitting there staring at it. I watched this episode twice, and I was like, what the fuck is he have? Like, it's bizarre, but he has planets and stuff on him, which seems like a very weird way to do this. And then he's like, all right, you're going to go out here 40 years away. It's 20 years there, 20 years back. You're going to go see if there's an inhabitable planet in this galaxy. You're going to go there, and you're going to come back, and you're going to see if we can survive there. You let us know. It seems like a really long phone call, essentially. And then Robert Lansing's character is like, all right, I guess I'll have to do that. And he seems like he's 45, this character, right? I don't know.
He looks like late 30s, early 40s for sure.
He is not late 30s, sir. Then again, it's the 60s. He could be.
Well, I mean, like, you mean the actor or
the actor.
How much?
I mean, during this time, high school kids look like they were in their 30s,
late 30s for heavy smokers.
Yeah, like Serling did not, cast age. he didn't care what you look like. You're 27 or 37. I don't give a shit if you're 50.
He was, holy shit. He's a year older than I am. He looks like a fucking man. I do not. He looks like a fucking man. I look like a man child. What the fuck is wrong with us now? But he apparently he's a year older than I was when he filmed this. But he's supposed to go out there. He agrees to do it. And before he goes, he seems like he has no family and all that. That's why they kind of choose him. This is kind of the setup for Idiocracy in a little bit.
Yeah, it's like the opposite of Interstellar. Yeah. You have two kids and a grandpa, but you need to go. Like, yeah, sorry, leaving you. I know mom's dead. Bye.
Say goodbye to your ungrateful child who will learn to appreciate you down the line.
Yeah, it's like exactly why did they need to pick this?
I hate that fucking movie. I don't care. I don't.
What you hate Interstellar?
Yeah,
I love that movie.
Oh, blow yourself! It was a great movie.
Great movie.
Great fucking movie.
But point
Matt Damon. I hate Matt fucking Damon. Ugh.
I don't disagree with that, but he goes and he before he goes, he doesn't have any family, it seems like, and he meets a girl. He meets this it's the 60s. He meets a girl. Who knows what the fuck her name is? It doesn't matter. And they fall.
He didn't have to go very far either. She's in the fucking hallway, like right outside
the guy's office, and is like, "Hey, a warm hole. How you doing?" That's as far as
it was, dude. There was so much cheese. There was so much cheese. I'm like, oh my god.
he
girl, me like pretty.
Smells like vagina, and he looked around like, like.
I mean,
look for Monica.
Fair, she's a looker. I mean,
yeah, I like
she's
her
a looker
a lot.
because they put the Vaseline filter on her. Compared to him, where
I noticed that too.
That old school 60s filter they used to put on every female in every TV show, like give them that glow. It's like I wanted to see her freckles. She had freckles, and I love freckles. I don't care.
Swap back to him
the same thing for my girlfriend. Sorry, Jansen. What?
No, I was gonna say. Then they swap back to his face, and half of him is covered in shadow.
Yeah. Well, on her face and his face, they have like a reflected light, like the sun. Like, oh, it's just a little bit of light. And hers are like, let's put a 20,000 K, the sun on her face, so we see no features. We could tell it's an outline of a human. That's really about it.
This bitch will have skin cancer by the time we're done.
She died of cancer in the 90s.
There's a still from that shot.
There you go.
Yeah, that one shot killed the bitch, and then he's like, "I love you." Did they talk about anything meaningful? If you could play that clip, I'd appreciate it.
Do it.
Yeah,
Do it.
All right. Oh, fuck me. I'm sorry.
While you're looking, real quick, they have Rod intro voice, and then a scene, and then Rod talking again, which is weird.
That was a little odd. They don't do that very often, do they?
I mean, They did a lot of season 3. Remember, because they had to put it up a lot, Phoenix, or they'll play like they would play a lot of the episode before his intro, and they still kind of do that.
Season 3 was on the fringe, where they felt like they were trying to save their contract with CBS. Season 5 just seems lazy. So he talks in voiceover, and then you hear the character, and then you see Rod on camera, and you're like,
"Sorry,
why are you here?" No, you're good. Go ahead and play the clip if you have it.
No. I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead. Finish.
That's all I was saying. Is it's just bizarre that you would go to him twice, and once in voiceover.
It doesn't help that it's like the worst camera angle of him too.
All of them are. It's season 5. He's not. He's on a different side. He's in 2 time zones away.
Yeah, he's in fucking Ohio somewhere.
He's in Ohio. They're recording in LA on CBS studio lots in Burbank, and he's
teaching something, writing
in college.
Yeah, for free.
2,500 miles away. So they literally will go, "Here's your script, Rod." He turned into a half-written script, and they go, "All right, air it." And you're like, "Oh, this is bad." I'm just saying this for Jansen's sake because he's new to season 5.
Yeah, they're not fans of season 5.
Season 4 is. I get the judgments for it. Season 4 is the only hour-long episode. That's why it's not on Netflix. It's an hour long. The rest are 25 minutes. Season 5, Rod had already moved on, literally across the country, moved his family to Ohio, and was like, "You guys have fun with your show. I'm going to take some time away," because he wrote so many scripts in such a short time frame. They're doing 36 to 39 episodes a year. He wanted time away. He moved away. And then he would still turn in scripts, but they were like neutered versions, like 18 pages for 25 minutes, which is rough if you know television. But they wouldn't alter them because they were like scared to upset the man. So we're left with season 5, which is these terrible scripts that seem really first drafty, as we've noticed throughout the last 15 episodes.
You can tell how a great producer really matters.
And Buck Houghton was the producer for 1 through 3, right? Or was he there for season 4?
Yeah, 4 made him quit.
4 made him. Yeah, he was. I think he left at some point in 4, but
he was. Yeah, I think so.
He wasn't there for season 5. There's no producer saying let's rewrite these Rod scripts. They're good, but let's fix this. So you're left with neutered scripts, with rushed production schedules because they're trying to do 39 again halfway through the year. So you're watching this and you're like, oh, this is bad. And then he's shooting his intros across the country. So if you freeze frame through some of the early season 5 episodes, you'll see the characters on scene, and then the camera pans over, and you'll see this a fucking cameraman with a studio like a 2K standing there holding it against Rod's face. You'll see the guy's face.
Yeah.
And then it cuts over to Rod, and like they were so rushed, and it just feels everything feels so rushed. And
you can even see that with like the set design and development. I mean, there's only maybe three sets in this entire episode.
Yeah, there's 2 rooms in a hallway.
Yeah,
it feels like they're getting the script 3 days before they shoot, and they're like, "All right, what the fuck do we got?" Like running around like
that hallway looks good. Let's figure it out.
Yeah. This bitch been frozen for 40 fucking years, and she wakes up and she's boom.
And
running.
the reason I ignore the
science,
the science that you mentioned, Frank, is because it's season 5. I think if this were early season 1 through 3, they had more time. Rod was more involved. He had his brother to talk to.
Yeah.
He had other people to bring in. They had that group, I forget what it's called, where they would bring in and do the science on it and go, "Hey, this is what would really happen." But by season 5, they were just fucking rushing.
Yeah.
So this is why we're left with this. That's why it doesn't bother me as much, only because I know this shit. So it doesn't bother me as much as season 5. I just watch it and I go, okay, ignore that.
Yeah, I mean, I
just bother me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because they had the time. And they were trying. They were seriously trying anyway.
Yeah.
Season 5 is like, this is like Marvel and DC is now, where they're just going off of what the name, I guess, and whatever the fuck they're doing, because hey, it's become its own entity now. It's not.
If we build it, they will come.
Exactly, and that's how like new movies are anyway.
Yep. Yeah. Star Wars.
Yeah, I don't know, Twilight Zone.
But you have the clip of her meeting him.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is them in it.
If not, we'll talk about it. Whatever.
I don't believe we've met. Are you permanently stationed here?
I'm with the space agency. And you're?
Stansfield, Commander, USN.
Good job, Frank.
Oh,
All our needs.
you're the one.
I don't know whether I should thank you for that or report you for insubordination.
Me women pretty.
I always wanted to meet you.
Well, and I've always wanted to meet you, too. Now, that's true. I have ESP, and a long time ago, I woke up early one morning, and some inner voice told me with some intensity that I would meet a girl with a stricken look who would drop papers in corridors.
I like your mouth. So smooth.
Did your ESP tell you the name?
Picture glaring light in this woman.
Oh,
You fucking him?
subtle astronaut.
About like this.
It's been an honor meeting you.
Not like this.
Yes, Jake. Bitch. Oh my God,
I don't suppose that the space agency could do without your services for a couple of hours.
This
They
is
just long
the
enough for dinner.
cheesiest shit I've ever seen. Yes.
Well,
Douche joke.
despite the fact that I am invaluable and that the whole space program rests on me alone, I think a 2 or 3 hour period could be carved out. I'm in the book, Commander. Please phone.
No, I won't call. I'll pick you up. I'll be there at 8. Arrivederci, lady from the space agency.
At 8 o'clock. Astronaut.
My God.
Arrivederci.
Arrivederci.
Oh God. Oh, I'm gonna throw up.
You are 31 years old, Commander.
You are 31 years old.
That was my initial reaction to that.
Yeah, I could tell that was really getting to you. The filter looked about like this.
Like she's like, oh yeah, say arrivederci.
Arrivederci.
Yep. You're beautiful.
Arrivederci.
You're beautiful with that filter on.
I would definitely play drunken hide the pick with you, sir.
Oh yeah, I liked her a lot. I was just mad that I couldn't see some more of the freckles. I wanted to see like her facial details, but yeah, those filters. I guess it was old school TV that a lot of details didn't get revealed. Filter all the women, make sure there's no blemishes or pores or anything. I don't know.
They had some left over from the soap opera they just filmed on the set next door.
It's almost like they filmed this shit in Hollywood or something, man.
Well, they could have pulled like a last season of Star Trek where like whatever show just wrapped, they would just like hurry up and go on there and write the episode around whatever bullshit was there. Western one week. Yeah, Nazis 1 week, Western the next week, gangster movie the next week. Yeah,
exactly. That's also CBS where they just fucking threw.
CBS is so fucking annoying, dude.
If you go in the CBS lot, they have one lot in the background, same as Fox, where it's just an outside New York City set, which is on Fox. It's where they shot Bruce Almighty. Like that outside, his apartment. That's what this looks like on the Fox back lot.
Yep.
CBS is very similar. They have that one set that they had on One for the Angels. That stoop, and that's it. And it looks like New York City. That's all they have there. Everything else, they have studio lots, and they go, "What the fuck else did you film? Pull it in here inside." And that's literally what they did.
They used the Back to the Future lot like 5-6 different episodes.
Yep.
You can tell.
Yeah. And Universal was more than fucking happy to rent that out to anybody who would show up. CBS like, every week will be
fucking
there.
Universal. Oh,
Well, yeah, it was funny. It was the fucking pilot of this entire episode was Universal's lot.
Yeah, they used it a bunch. And I don't blame them. It looks good when you're there. I mean, you get rid of that fucking nowadays. I can't imagine. Like, get rid of the fucking fat Midwesterners off the fucking toured bus, and then get them to shut up so we can film a scene. Can't imagine what it was like back then, when there's no tour bus or Universal Studios. But yeah, it feels it's a very minimal sets. There's the guy's office. They go outside in the hallway, and they have like kind of a futuristic set where it's all silver, but it looks it's minimal and it gets the job done.
Yeah,
there's not a lot involving, but you get the idea. It's not really about the details in this episode,
right? It wants to make you focus on the characters more. So
exactly,
yeah.
And Frank, I've been saying since we started doing shows 4 years ago or so, I appreciate the episodes that are narrow focus on the characters, and that's all I really look for. Everything else, like the science and stuff, can be wrong. And if I watch a movie,
I said very
sorry, what?
Like I was saying, it has no bearing on the episode whatsoever. It was just I thought
it's wrong. The science is wrong. We can't deny that. It's just it's about the characters and how he meets her. They clearly both are like, holy shit, this person changes my entire life outlook. And which is kind of a sweet moment, honestly. I'm not very tender as a person, but I appreciate it when I watch stuff.
Yeah, this was one of those, exactly. This was one of those sentimental. That's it.
Yeah,
sentimental episodes that are.
And he's gonna go out, and he'll be 40 years older when he comes back, and she's like,
and fuck her, man. And she's like, oh man, I can't even get it up anymore. Fuck.
She's like, he will be the same age. As far as she knows, he's gonna be the same age. She's gonna freeze himself there, freeze himself back. He'll be 2 days older when he gets back.
And
she'll be 40 years older. She'll have a dry hole. And what's he gonna do? He's gonna be all.
He was reserved to never see her again, so that's why he took himself out of cryo and made himself that old. So when he got back, he didn't have to worry about still being in love with her.
And I still have issues with that science, because why the fuck do they have enough food for 80 years?
How do you how does one in cryo take themselves out of cryo?
He must have. They
didn't really go into detail on that one.
I'm glad that you said that, because I was thinking that too, and I'm like, am I overthinking this? Nah, it'll be fine. Go with it.
The episode
I'm like, that's impossible. There's no way.
And that's what I want to say. This episode is so amazing, is because it makes me ignore all those little demons in the back of my mind going, this doesn't make sense. This doesn't make sense. I ignored all that, and I'm like, oh, this is like really sweet, even though it has this horrendous ending with severe miscommunication where they do not talk to each other.
You had it right. It's communication.
They needed to talk, and one conversation would have solved this entire episode, but they did not do that.
Remember they set that up that there was problems with the communication plot armor.
Before he left.
That movie with Mel Gibson in it, Forever Young.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah.
Oh, that was this episode, but
no, I don't know if I go that far, but it kind of is. You're right, it kind of is, but yeah, it's not that bad though.
It's pretty much exactly that is, sir. Except he didn't go to space; he was a test pilot.
Yeah, that whole miscommunication thing definitely plays into the Romeo and Juliette thing, though.
Yeah.
So, but when we get to that part, like I have a total problem with that entire ending.
And there are problems with this episode, and I do not deny that. I'm just saying, when I watch this, I ignore all that, which is rare for me.
I did too. I didn't even think about the whole the space travel and theory of relativity and all that shit until Frank brought it up. So
I was thinking about it when I'm watching it. I'm going, Frankie's gonna have such a fucking issue with this. But also,
see, now I know that about Frank. I won't make that mistake again. Frank's got to be covered when it comes to logistics.
I have like a Frank filter back here that just goes, Frank is gonna have an issue. But I was like, I like this. I don't like make his
wait for it. There it is.
Yeah. Frank filters talking incoherently in the back of my head. Yeah,
that's funny.
But I'm not like a romantic guy, but I cry at like every single movie I watch, pretty much for the most part. If I'm being honest, like a little teared up a little bit. So
unless you're jerking off to Schindler's List,
I was just gonna say, but you jerk off to Schindler's List.
That was as a teenager. This is now as an adult who slightly masturbates to all stuff crimes.
but like every Mission Impossible movie, you're bawling like a little girl, right?
No, I'll watch. You're not
Fast
far
and
off.
Furious.
I know.
To be honest, you're not far off. Really, anything that has like a sacrifice or something, I'm like, I do get choked up when I watch this, and I'm like,
who hurt you?
I just gave up so much without communication, and that's where the big tragedy is for the episode. Is they don't communicate their plans for the next 40 years.
Honestly,
like, you guys are dumb.
Like, hey, what are you going to be up to? Like, that would have solved everything.
Yeah.
Look, this guy just wanted to get some bone before he was about to bounce for 40 years.
That's the thing. Like, I don't think he thought he was going to fall for it. He probably thought, I'm going to be in deep sleep for 40 years. I'm going to get some tail before I take off. But it never comes across as that's what he's trying to do, ever. One, because it's 1964. Two, it's primetime TV. But in the back of your mind, you're thinking, oh, I see what you're trying to do here. Literally the first woman you walk it up to. Like,
I'm really sure Serling wrote this exactly with that in mind. You know?
Yeah, he's probably awkward with relationships. I'm getting that impression.
Serling, awkward period.
Yeah, he's an awkward fellow. You're an awkward fellow.
Well, awkward, but he also had children and a wife and a house and all that by then. So he was writing a character that was like him without.
It's because he's rich.
He had that before that. Like as he was building up, kind of like Wes Craven, where he had kids and then moved out into LA and got a career.
He moved the whole family from Chattanooga all the way across country. With the one episode with William Shatner. That was literally like something.
Nightmare? Yeah, Nightmare.
No, the other. Yeah, right.
Nick of Time.
Yeah, Nick of Time. Yeah,
you gotta watch these episodes and then memorize the titles. It'll help you out a lot with us.
Don't try it, Jansen. I've tried. It's painful. It doesn't. It won't end well for you.
I can't even remember names.
I can't see how that's going to add anything positive.
They refer to him by name, and I'm like, which one's that again? Then they have to describe the twist so that I know what fucking episode they're talking
the one
about.
where they sit down and they talk to the devil thing, and they pull William Shatner.
Yep.
Yeah,
I know that. See, now I know it. Now that you said that, I can picture the episode.
That's why I say if you're gonna watch it for the first time, like Jansen is, try to memorize the titles. I'm giving them a little heads up there. Just try.
I'm gonna try to memorize the titles so that I could really get into this last 20 episodes that you guys have left of this.
Oh no,
we're also doing 80s,
and then
are we? Okay.
Yes. Memorize all of those, Jansen. No fucking pressure. Yeah.
And and you gotta catch up with Peels because Peels season 2 is about to fucking be released sometime real soon, right?
Great
point. Are you guys doing Peels 2 right now, or are you waiting on that one?
Oh yeah, we're doing right. Right.
If you don't mind, Frank, let me step in.
I'm sorry.
Frank's got a great point. Where the fuck? I cannot point to the right direction because it's backward for me. Frank down there has a correct point if you're watching the video. I didn't even think about Peel, but so Jansen, because you're not a Twilight Zone snob like Frank and I are. We got our 60s Twilight Zone, which is the Rod Serling series, which is five seasons.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. 156 episodes. That's
of which I'm only going to watch 4 seasons.
Yes, but season 4. I'll give you 3 episodes on something. You can watch them, and then once you're caught up.
Okay.
The other ones we have are 80s episodes, which I know nothing about. So after this initial Rod Serling run, we'll all be in the same page. All of us, all 4 of us.
Nice.
We have no idea what they are.
I know that they were very bad. Very bad.
And then we have our 2001, 2002 series with Forrest Whitaker, which I know nothing about as well. I watched some episodes when they aired, but no memory. And then we, obviously we have the Twilight Zone movie and stuff and all that sort of stuff, but we're not going to get into that. But then the 4th iteration is the Jordan Peele 2019 version, which is only 10 episodes. You can watch that for free if you have Amazon Prime.
Mm-hmm.
Just go ahead and watch 10 episodes.
Are you plugging Amazon Prime right now?
I don't give a shit. We're not getting paid by Amazon Prime, but yes, they are on there. But go ahead and watch them. 10 episodes, and then we're going starting. Adam, you and I started talking about this when they're airing. Is it June 26th? I want to say.
I think you said that, unless it got delayed, like everything else did.
That was the delayed release date, though.
You're right. April. I remember now. Yeah. Okay.
I can look it up right now, but I think it's
June. Sounds familiar. Yeah.
So eventually, we're gonna start doing like Jordan Peele episodes and one of the classic ones, or depending on where we are in the series.
Gotcha.
So Jordan Peele.
It'll be fun to review some episodes with you guys that you haven't seen, because sometimes I feel like I don't have them all.
I never saw it.
Yeah.
Like this past episode, I've never seen this one.
Yes, this is one of my favorite episodes of the entire series. So much so that my first note is I wrote a poem story. You guys have bought my books, the 2 on the right there, or left, wherever you are. I write poetry books. One of my poems chapters is about this episode, and I kind of knew that watching it, but I was watching it going, "Oh, this is very
Can you
similar."
please read the poem now?
No,
Yeah, do it.
It's long, but I also have started a podcast where I wrote scripts and I'm reading it out and writing it, and it's basically this episode. A guy goes into space, long trip out, long trip back, and it's very long. And I'm like, this is very similar. Like,
Quote of the night, Phoenix West. It's very long.
Yeah.
Don't plug it or anything.
Like, I didn't just borrow from this a little bit. Like, I almost need to ask CBS at this point.
I pretty much ripped this entire script off.
Yeah, it's
It wasn't a script ripped off.
I'm gonna get a cease and desist order if I put out that, that sort of thing. But so I really like this episode. I guess is what I'm saying. I really, really like this episode. It's one of my favorite ones.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
That's where I'm at with it.
To each his own, really.
It's fine that you're wrong.
It's great. Have fun with that. But season 2 debuts on 25th, June 25th. And it looks like all 10 episodes just show up on June 25th. So we'll review them 1 week at a time.
Sweet. I'll just
if there's
binge
10
right through 'em.
episodes,
He better have been trolling us, dude. I swear to God. I really hope he was trolling us, dude. I really do.
Well, seeing his tweets lately, and Adam, you can attest to this, with the Color Out of Space review we did, we also noticed some things that Jordan Peele said. You want to go into that? No?
Does it have anything to do with what's going on right now?
I mean, it does, but
I don't want to hear about it. I don't care.
Peripheral. No,
we'll skip it.
What's the guy? I can't think of the guy's fucking name for some reason right now. The guy that wrote Color Out of Space.
Oh, that's God, why old man brain fart.
Old racist guy. What the fuck?
Yeah, old racist guy. H.P. Lovecraft.
H.P. Lovecraft.
Yeah.
Jordan Peele's trying to make something that like sheds a light on H.P. Lovecraft's racism. So that makes me go, okay, the new Twilight Zone series season is not going to be any better. We're probably just stuck with more of the same.
It's going to be bullet point of the week.
So I haven't watched a single episode of the new Twilight Zone. I was interested, but I just haven't.
Have you been on Twitter in the last 2 years?
Yes.
You watched season 1 of the Twilight Zone then?
Yeah.
Okay. I kind of thought, I was like, is this going to
be hot button Twitter issue of the week? And that's the kind of stuff that I hate.
That's what I was going to ask. Is like, because the same thing's happening with like Black Mirror. Like it's the same type of.
Well, that's different though. That's totally different though. I mean, Black Mirror. I wouldn't say Black Mirror is kind of cool though.
Well, Black Mirror is cautionary. I don't hate it. I just those episodes make me extremely uncomfortable with my environment.
Because it is your environment.
That's why I hate it. I have enough things to be afraid about and angry about. I don't want more of it in my life.
Yeah. Too bad. You're going to have to figure it out. So,
Fuck you. I make my own decisions.
well, please don't, because these are the decision that this is the path.
No, I have a very strong animosity to shows and art and books and things that preach at me and force me to take sides. I grew up in a time where you could do politics in entertainment and not force somebody to take
that though. I'm sorry.
It kind of is. It kind of is. It lost me. I didn't.
No.
I didn't continue the show.
I would say I would say it hit from both angles. I mean, just like one of the latest Black Mirrors, the one where the British guy, right? I don't know if you've seen that one or not.
No, I stopped watching. I watched about 3 or 4 of them, and I don't like them.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Hold on, Frank. Was it super technologically based and depressing?
No.
What?
I disagree. That's why I stopped watching it, because it's very It's technophobia.
The one that I was talking about isn't.
All the ones that I saw were. So
hold on. There's one of 2 episodes that aren't like that.
No, there's a couple like that.
So
it's just a mirror version of the shitty side of people, which I see enough of as it is. I don't want to regurgitate more of it, you know.
Well, I'm kind of in the middle of you guys. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Frank, but I know what you're gonna say. I'm kind of in the middle of you guys though, where I'm not quite like Adam. I don't quite go fuck that show, but I'm not like Frank, where I'm not like that show's great. I'm kind of in the middle where I'm like, I get where this is going, and I just don't care.
Fair enough.
Just don't care.
And that's totally cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat, medium.
Yeah, I just thought
not a bad show. I
just like it because it's literally within. It's kind of cool to see what we're going to have to figure out in the next 20 years.
That's what I say. I know what you're going to say because you brought it up many times. I don't agree. We're going to have to deal with this shit in our lifetimes.
Yes, we will.
Yeah, that's part of the problem too. Is I'm more of my preferences, Frank, are just escapism in general. And see, I watch a show like The Expanse, and I'm wrapped up in other people's problems. Something that takes place in the future, maybe our future, maybe not, but they've got their own problems. It's this universe is completely different from what we have right now. That's what I want in entertainment at this particular point in my life. And there's not enough of it. Yeah.
Or I watch Star Trek Picard and I go, oh, you're raping everything that I like about Star Trek. What the fuck are you doing? You have no idea what you guys are doing.
Remember Star Trek? Well, fuck all that. This ain't your dad's Star Trek. Whoa.
Remember your dad? Well, let me bend him over the bed.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
No, the cool thing about is it's not on the head like you know what I'm saying, like it's not that much nail on the head where the story is really cool.
Let's let the actors design the show because they totally know what Star Trek is all about because they were on the set and reading lines that somebody else wrote.
Okay.
To summarize real quick, if I can, I think Adam is oversimplifying Black Mirror, which I find amusing, but also he's oversimplifying.
I'm like, what are you even talking about Black Mirror now, or what are you talking about?
I was when we went to Picard.
Summarizing, so we can actually move on to the Twilight episode. I think Frank is over glamorizing the show, so I think somewhere in the middle is where you should be.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah,
it's all opinionated anyway.
Let's move on to the Twilight Zone episode that we actually watched.
What happened in the end? Let's get to that.
I can see Jansen just standing like pacing, and I'm like,
my feet are starting to hurt. I'm contemplating sitting down.
But this episode, I really do enjoy this episode. Really, there's not a whole lot to talk about. She has one more conversation with him before he leaves, right?
And that's the only time you know that they become in love.
Yeah, and it seems like they met in that clip you played. He has another conversation with someone else. And then they talk again. He kind of embraces her, and that's really about it. And she's like, "I'll be this old. Maybe I won't do that. I'll go freeze myself." And she kind of hints at it. And he doesn't go, "Let's come up with a plan, bitch. What are we gonna do?" No communication at all. He just goes. He ignores whatever she says. She ignores whatever he says, and they go their separate fucking ways for 40 years. And that's where the episode really breaks down into the depression and the sadness of the outcome.
Yeah. The astronaut was extremely irresponsible. For a guy that was gung-ho for space exploration and furthering mankind and sacrificing himself for the greater good, kind of really dicked her over by generating a relationship out of thin air, literally seconds after he walks out of the planning room, which, by the way, I didn't mention earlier, but the way they had those star charts hanging up in the room, all I could think of was Tom Green going, "Daddy, would you like some sausage? Daddy, would you like some?" Because they're all strung up together. And if there was somebody behind it, because you could kind of see them moving a little bit, like there was like some wind going in the room, and they're all like on the same string. Yeah.
I have so many notes about the specifics. Like, he's been an astronaut for 11 years. And he looked like he was 55. I'm like, but apparently finding out he's
a late bloomer,
older than me, is a little disturbing. But so he's going.
I'm sorry, Phoenix,
no, good.
The average age of an astronaut is like 36,
which apparently is what he's at. But he doesn't look like it at all. He looks like he's 53. But he's He's been an astronaut for 11 years. He's going 141 light years away from Earth. That's his goal.
Which in like that's about almost the entire span of the Milky Way.
Which means he's going over three times the speed of light. Right?
140,
no, 20.
Nine times the speed of light.
Yeah, he's going way more because I was doing front and back, but he's just going 20 years there.
Which is impossible.
Yeah. So I get what your issues are with the science. So we already talked about that though, but I don't know where to begin.
There's theoretical ways to do it, but no.
Part of what I like about the episode is the miscommunication, which without that miscommunication, there is no episode. There's no reveal. Because in the end, it ends up being there's two things I want to say, and they're both separate. So how do I do this? So let's just say what happens. He goes out 20 years, comes back 20 years. He shows up back at the station and back in the space sci-fi hallway.
Yeah.
As an 8-year-old.
The one NASA hallway they have.
Yes. Shows up as an 80-year-old. She's 22, 23, whatever the fuck she is. And they had a miscommunication. They should have had a slight conversation about this, what they should have done. But the trick on what kind of was saying the other side of this is, in reality, is he waited 6 months, unplugged himself from the stasis somehow, and then somehow survived 40 years inside the space shuttle on food that isn't there.
Maybe he had a wet dream and woke up.
Maybe.
Well, maybe I guess it would be 19 years to the place where they went. He was able to stock up on some supplies. Maybe
I was gonna say, I'm sure you can fit 40 years worth of space food inside of the capsule he's in. Yeah.
And the wrappers and the debris and the shit.
Fucking power bars. He just lived on power bars the whole
He
time.
wouldn't even have a toilet. He's supposed to be frozen the entire time.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it's like they freeze you and then they blast you off into space. I don't think that glass box would
no
would handle that rumbling and 20 G's.
It's the same glass box from Rip Van Winkle caper.
You notice that?
Yeah, exact same one.
Yeah,
but I guess what my point is he gets back. They do a thing where they trick you because it shows 1988, July or April 19th, 1988 on the screen, and you're thinking he's on his way back because it's the 60s. The math doesn't add up at all. You think he's on his way back though, but in reality, the current year that we're seeing our old character meeting the young character in the very end is like 2027 or something. So that's how they trick you into thinking he's on his way back, but really he just left, and you're seeing before he unplugged himself. Go back and rewatch it if you're confused. I had to go back to the beginning and go, wait, what? What are the years here? It's 1988 is like just after they left. This isn't set in the 60s. It's set in the 80s to 2022, 2027 or something.
Phoenix has got the chalkboard right next. He's like writing it, carry the one,
the string and the pictures.
Got a fucking slide rule out. Yeah.
That overlay of all the numbers coming across the screen.
It looks like. But he left in 1988 is when this is starting. But you think it's the 60s because that's just where your mind goes. So that's how they get you in a little bit of this. That's why you're not really thinking about. I was like, how does this make sense? Because I knew the ending. So even I was fooled. But
by the way, probably some of the best old man makeup I've ever seen. Not that they had to go real far, but
old man makeup, not bad. What am I doing?
Talking about? He looked like freaking Frankenstein, dude.
Go back and watch.
Comparatively, this is good,
dude.
They oh boy,
yeah, that
that was Phoenix right there.
No, but it makes sense. If you go back and watch it with the timeline in place, you'll get it. You get what I'm saying. I'm not even going that deep. Just saying, you think they'll leave in the 60s, but really it's set 20 years later than it really is.
What the fuck was that? What was that?
What?
Someone did math.
Okay.
Yeah, it was just a meme. Yeah, it was a meme.
Do that. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah,
It was for a gag. Yeah.
Like, there's no way. Yeah. Okay. Like, I know that you were a mathematician.
Fuck.
I think the ending could have been better when he shows up, because they have some random guy from 40 years in the future come out and go, all right, Mr. whatever your fucking name is, here's what happened. She knew you would wait 40 years and be frozen, so she froze herself. So by the time you actually see the young lady come out to the old man, who's our main character, it's already spoiled. And I'm like, they wasted a reveal there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely a waste.
She should have been a lot madder.
They were
worst. That's not even the worst part, though. The worst part is after that, when he denies her.
Yeah,
he says no.
I don't blame him.
We can't. No, I do blame him. What old man wouldn't want some young hot 27-year-old woman
with freckles?
He's so old, though, at that point. He can't do shit for her. What's he gonna have a heart attack on her vagina? What's he gonna do to her?
He's like, bitch, I just grew old as fuck because I would never see you again. Get out of my face.
Exactly. He had the sacrifice side. She did not. She just froze herself for 40 years. She doesn't remember a dick from that.
Yeah.
He had to live an entire lifetime on nothing.
Yeah.
He made the sacrifice.
Eating his own shit.
Like, I'm 40, and he's like, oh, great, bitch. Great. Have fun with that life.
I'm glad you get to live yours. I lived mine missing you. So whatever.
Eating power bars in the back of a ship for 40 years.
Yep.
In reality, he would show up with long hair and long fingernails and look insane like Howard Hughes and just be like, I was a monster 40 years. Fuck, I want to fuck your holes and be crazy.
He was like, I had to give myself my own pancreatic, surgery and shit, bitch.
I had to drink my own piss for 40 years.
That's what I mean. Like,
that's my own prostate, if you know what I mean. It's
I yanked out all my teeth. I have nothing but gum.
He would be a fucking creature, like a feral creature. He would be 2 days older.
The Howlers, they're trying to get me. Oh my God.
He would be a lunatic, and she'd be like, oh, 2 days ago I froze myself, as far as I know.
Yeah, I mean, Tom Hanks was only fucking by himself for 5 years, for crying out loud.
Yeah,
this guy's 40. I mean, he should be like.
So she's his Helen cunt because she's a bitch.
Dark.
Well, again, a conversation would have solved this, but they don't. Yeah. Romeo.
One line of dialogue. Yeah.
Juliet doesn't tell him she used poison on her to fake her own death, and he shows up and thinks she killed herself, so he kills himself, and then she has to wake up and go, "Bitch, you killed yourself. I'm gonna kill myself now for real."
Which he suffered in that one, not her.
Forever young. Thank you.
Yeah. I called her Sandra Horny in my notes, not Sandra Horn, because she has the hot wets for him. She's all over this guy.
Wets.
She's so horny for him. They met twice. They had 2 conversations, and she's
this
like,
is worse than the Titanic relationship.
He's a famous astronaut, bro. Come on.
But at least in Titanic, they danced.
Dude, she got astronaut. Like she was waking up more astronaut.
So deep space.
I see what you did there. Oh, shenanigans.
Oh, I can't. I was like, she should bang him for a couple years into the grave. That was my last note. Bang him till he dies. Move on like Anna Nicole Smith. Just don't die like she did.
Change his diapers.
Yeah, change his diapers. Fuck him. You got 3 years max. This guy's frail.
I mean, I have a clip from him, I think.
You're really quite an incredible man.
Burgess Meredith?
Maybe the one distinction in my entire life that I knew you. But I knew a man who put such a premium on love. Truly quite a distinction stands for you.
Ooh.
He did that a lot in the end too. A lot of
yeah, that was good. Yeah.
Yeah, because all old guys, when you get old, you just go
French fried taters.
That's the quote right there that got Phoenix all choked up, though. I bet you anything.
Yeah, probably.
I think it took it this time because I knew where it was going, but definitely, first few times I watched it. Yeah.
Just boo hoo 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 boo hoo.
No, I do the. Oh, a little chest pain there.
You do like, man, got something in my eye. Must be the fucking allergies again. Holy shit, man.
Anyway, you should fuck her. I'm a big softie. I have no shame in that. I really am. But I watch this and I'm like, oh.
Carry a handkerchief with you.
Why don't you put it in her hole?
Which one?
Good God.
Glory hole.
Yeah, she better. Yeah, she had to give him the ass. I mean,
Something. Something. She shows up and like, hey, I'm still hot in the exact same memory you have 40 years ago. You get an old wrinkled sack. What am I gonna?
Honestly, Phoenix though, if she gave it up the ass towards the end, because women back then, they thought that if they did that, like you were married. Like where are you going? You fuck me in the ass. You're like, we gotta be together forever. Like that was like something women. You know what I'm saying?
It wasn't a first date, is what you're saying. It wasn't a.
I'm just saying, she cryogenic herself for him because she gave up the ass to him. It's like
they were going steady in the ass.
That's what I'm saying.
He was going steady.
Steady in
women,
the ass.
Like I gave him the ass, the motherfucker.
He better die in the war. That's the only way that relationship ends.
You know what the answer to all this is, right? All she needs to do is go put herself back in the cryogenic chamber for another 15, 20 years, find some grandkid of his if he ends up fucking somebody, and just marry that guy.
Yeah, Captain America this.
Yeah, Captain America, that bitch.
But then he finds a way to time travel to be with your ass. Some convoluted bullshit that Marvel came up with. Whatever.
Let's not even get down that rabbit hole.
No, not a clue.
Speaking of her rabbit hole, though, she should have given it up. That's all I'm saying. Frank's right.
Yep.
Eddie in the ass.
Mm-hmm. Right in the ass.
Yeah. I'm not going to disagree with that. She should have done something. I love the cardboard sets when they had the radio conversation. I don't know if you guys remember that at all. It was a short little thing.
Mm-hmm.
Where he's coming back, and it's like cardboard sets, and the guy's on a radio on a desk that's clearly in front of cardboard. This is such a cheap episode.
Yeah, there was spared at no expense here.
As far as cardboard goes.
Yeah.
Cardboard and fishing wire to hang his little Jupiter photos up. And then
Daddy, would you like
some big volcanoes?
One thing I love about gas planets, their volcanoes are amazing.
Yep.
Even though they cannot have them.
It's impossible.
Is there anything else you guys want to say about this episode? Any parting with the wisdom that we usually do? Any lessons learned?
Yeah, I this might piss you off, but I think Frank convinced me. I think there's problems in this episode that have taken it down a notch for me. The more I think about him, the more it pisses me off.
Nothing you guys want to say about the episode?
I think he has some points. He had some good points. He
does.
I would say that Frank definitely had some points. I still enjoyed the episode. I think it was
I don't hate it, but it did bring it down a notch because I'm thinking about it, I'm like, son of a bitch, I didn't think about that. What the fuck? Seriously, Yeah,
but that's why I say like my favorite movies are like hard sci-fi. But that's why I don't like Star Trek, Star Wars, all that shit. Like,
fantasy and shit. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, more hard sci-fi shit is like I don't care if it's sci-fi, but still don't.
You can't turn your brain off.
Quest, right?
Your brain starts asking questions and it sets off bells and whistles. I totally get that.
Yeah.
It's fun.
I get it, but it's kind of like it's weird that I feel this way, but also I hate Star Trek Discovery because Star Trek Discovery is all emotion, no science.
Yes,
which I normally not on board with.
Not enough problem solving.
But when I watch this episode, I ignore that. But when I watch Star Trek Discovery, which is the exact same ratio of science versus emotion, I'm like, fuck this. Like I get irritated.
Yeah.
So I get both aspects, Adam. I get why you're kind of on the fence and why you're swayed so easily by it, because it makes sense. The science is bullshit in this.
It only took it down a notch for me, though. Yeah.
But like I said earlier, I understand why the science is that way in this episode. They were just so fucking rushed, and they're at the finish line of the show. I don't know if CBS announced already they're done, but they were clearly finishing up, and Rod wasn't involved. So I kind of excuse that. Like right now, Star Discovery is season 1 and 2. That's how they began the show. So it's inexcusable.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
I never watched it.
It's terrible. Don't watch it.
It's trash. I watched one episode, and that was enough to know that this was not Star Trek whatsoever. It's
watched
like
every episode. It's not worth watching. I watched everything of a card. Do not watch it. It's fucking miserable.
I mean,
it's like a bad relationship. You keep thinking it's going to get better, and then you keep getting hurt again and again and again.
That's
it's like nope.
That's Walking Dead.
It's not a bad relationship. Phoenix is just a masochist and loves the pain.
He likes to hurt. He likes to suffer.
I like Star Trek. I was telling Jansen I downloaded a Star Trek game on here. I'm like, it's going to be terrible, but I'm looking forward to it because.
You mean the clicking?
My answer to that was: did you have any doubt that it was going to be terrible? Or
no, I know it's going to be bad. It's free to play, and I'm like, it's going to be terrible.
That's your first
one of those. Yeah.
Here we go. I haven't touched.
You can go faster, Phoenix, if you spend $50 on more, enzyme
Warp
crystals
drive.
or whatever. Yeah.
Would you like Warp Drive? $50?
Yeah, only $50 for Warp Drive.
I won't pay a single penny for a game like that. So we'll see how it goes. I'll probably stop playing after 15 minutes, like Fallout 76.
That's about how long
that was only because you couldn't play it, not that it would. That you didn't
I played
want
literally 20 minutes of Fallout 76, and it updated the servers 15 fucking times, and I'm like, all right, done. And I haven't touched it in 2 years.
Outro?
Done.
Outro?
Yeah. Go ahead and play the outro, and then we'll do our outros and plugs.
One of the forgotten pioneers of the space age.
Sorry.
He's been pushed aside by the flow of progress and the passage of years and the ferocious travesty of fate. Tonight's tale of the ionosphere and irony, delivered from the Twilight Zone.
Oh, are we done?
Mr. Surly.
Oh, no.
Next time out on the Twilight Zone, an unusual little item from the pen of Jerry McNeely, based on a story by Henry Slazar, and called, intriguingly enough, The Self-Improvement of Salvador Ross. This one poses a question: if you don't like what you are, how do you go about changing? Don Gordon portrays a man who really goes the route when it comes to some basic changing, and the results are most unexpected.
I have zero memory of the next episode.
I don't.
Doesn't sound familiar to me. Yeah.
Me neither.
So this will be, I hope all of us are back next week. We're going to do 2 Twilight Zone episodes next week. We'll do Self-Improvement of Salvador Ross. And we'll also do number 12 Looks Just Like You.
Oh, that's a good one, actually. It's actually decent.
We're skipping Tales from the Crypt because we're way the fuck ahead of schedule.
Yeah, at least that one's actually pretty decent. And that's, I think, Earl Hammy wrote that, and that's like one of the only ones that was worth anything they ever did.
Charles Beaumont.
Was it? There you go.
So he was deep in the recessions of
this was,
his mind shattering away.
Yeah.
Probably one of the last things he wrote, honestly.
I think it was, yeah.
But check us out next week for those 2 episodes, and I look forward to it. Is there anything else you guys want to say about this episode?
Do we want to do scores at all, or?
Oh yeah, ratings.
Yeah, ratings. Yeah.
I gave it a 9. I love this episode.
I give it an 8.
It's got a 7.7 on IMDb.
5.
I was going to give it a 7, but the more I think about it, I'm kind of torn between 6 and 7.
Sounds like a 6.5.
Yeah, I don't know if we do half scores on this show or not. I haven't been on the show long
I go
enough.
for IMDb. You get a star. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's all whole numbers. You don't get a half.
Okay, so yeah, it's a 6 unless somebody convinced me otherwise. I like the acting. I like the fact that the director did a lot with a very little here. Like it's not, in the set, but the acting's good. The pacing's pretty good considering it's all about time travel. But But the more I think about it, I'm like, yeah, you're right. This is Shakespeare. This is Forever Young. I'm gonna say it. And yeah, Frank's got me convinced. When you start thinking about the maths, you can't just turn that part of your brain off. So once you call attention to it, it's hard not to think about that. Like, oh wow, yeah, you really didn't put enough effort into it. And also, I don't think I mentioned it earlier, but it's like it was very irresponsible of that progressive astronaut that wants to do one for mankind to generate a relationship out of thin air, 5 minutes before he takes off on the most important mission of his life. He shouldn't have done that. He did it, and it happened. So I don't know.
He was getting fucked over one way or the other.
Yeah. And then she gets fucked over too, because she's wasted her entire life waiting for somebody who's a massive communication breakdown, which is basically what it's about. So yeah,
I agree with everything except that last sentence. She wasted nothing. He wasted 40 years.
Okay.
Because she's 2 days older.
Except if you think about it, now that she's waken up again, she's out of her element. So time will have passed her by. She's going to have to catch up with technology and probably not be able to assimilate herself back into society very easy. So yeah.
Either way, she's fucked.
My opinion. I mean, he's got to deal with that too. You know what I mean? So like, it's minor in her situation because she's still got the rest of her life to figure it out. He's at the end of his.
She's still exactly. She's still young. He's elderly.
He can go check into a nursing home and let somebody else wipe his ass. It's
he didn't know she was going to do that, so he was going to, like, she was fucked either way. You know what I mean? She was either going to live out the rest of her life missing him, right? Because of what he did, or she's going to freeze himself, and he did, and then she still can't be with him. Either way, she still can't be with him, and she's still going to be that age, and she's still going to live the rest of her life out missing him, whatever. Either way, she's fucked.
Right. Unless they had a conversation.
I think the opposite. I think she's fine. She'll figure something out. She's young. Maybe she put $20 in the bank. She's got all that, that sort of shit. So, but I agree with Frank what said, except for the fact that she's fucked. I do think, except that's part of it. That's not a negative against the issue, against the episode, though. That is what happened, which I don't hold against the episode, because that's the plot of the episode, which I appreciate, and that's why I like it.
Right.
The science, you can't deny, is wrong, but I don't hold that against the episode. I know why this episode was rushed, and I know all that shit. So that is a contributing factor into what kind of I put in my ignore box. I'm like, all right, that's over here. And I still have an emotional core to this episode, which is mostly all I'm looking for in a Twilight Zone episode. Like some of the bad ones, like Frank, you didn't really care for Nightmare as a Child, but I fucking love that episode because it has an emotional core, and it's over here. And the episode has flaws, yes, but I love that fucking episode. I just don't hold the weird shit against it. I all I want is a character study. There's interesting characters and interesting plot, enough to make me think and not make me go, fucking hurry up, or I know this is going. Like, come on.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't feel that way in this episode.
At least this episode had a twist you did not see coming. I'll give it that. I didn't see her, freezing her ass. Nope.
Except for the very end where that guy just spills it all out before we get it should have been our two main characters getting together at different ages. Not just the guy going, hey, she's young, you're old. Anyway, here you go. And you're kind of like, oh, I already know this.
This is awkward now.
By the time you see them together, you're like, I already know this. They fucked up the ending.
Yeah. So it's like they're reading off of cue cards at that point. Just get it over with. Just turn on a teleprompter, and it's a wrap. Next episode, start rolling.
Yeah. Anyway, let's get out of here. Until next time, in the meantime, I'm Phoenix West.
I'm Frank Links.
I'm Jansen Carlin.
And I'm Adam Wilcox.
See our plugs in the show notes, because we gone long, and I want to put them all here. So
she said.
She said we gone long?
Yeah.
What's wrong with her? Fucking the wrong ladies.